Hello and welcome to another Stoke City Fans Forum here at the Bet365 Stadium with myself, Lucas Shomans, brought to you in association with BBC Radio Stoke. I can't believe we're here again, but we are. It's time to ask some questions that you've sent in to us about the upcoming season, the transfer window, whatever it is that you want to know. Hopefully, we will answer those questions tonight. To get started, I think we should just make some noise in the room right now, everybody. Big round of applause for yourselves. And now that you're nicely warmed up, please make some noise for our three panellists. That's the chair and owner, John Coates, manager Mark Robbins, and the sporting director, Jonathan Walters. How to spot a Stoke fan. There we go. So as I mentioned, these questions have been sent in to us over the last sort of month or so to the BBC Radio Stoke inbox. Questions that you want to know about, anything to do with Stoke City, we're going to aim to answer tonight. As you can imagine, some topics come up a few times, more than once, so we've had to sort of combine some questions so we're not just doing the same thing over and over again, but hopefully your question will get answered tonight and we'll get a bit of an understanding as to the running of the football club. We'll start with a question that we've had in for yourself, John, and it is about something that I know you've been a big advocate of and you're very excited about, the new crest. Simply, as the chair, the owner, what are your thoughts on the new crest?
No, I'm a big fan, so I'm just looking at it.
Just admiring it there, your hard work.
I'm just admiring it. I mean, look, I didn't really like the crest we had before, I'll be honest, and I absolutely got why we got there with it, and it was the Icelandic ownership wanted to have some representation of themselves on the badge, and that was all fine, but it never really represented a Stoke badge to me, our kind of history, our heritage. So what do I love about it? So I love the kiln, I love the Staffordshire knot, I like the 1863. I also, so obviously it's a nod to the past, and I get that, but I think it's modern and looking forward as well. So, I'm a big fan, and I smile every time I see it round the place at the moment.
I was brave enough to say to you, wasn't I?
You didn't like it.
No.
You told me you didn't like it.
Boo.
No, you did.
Look what you've done now. Look what you've done. No, it took a while to adjust.
Okay.
But I have to say, do you know what was the change for me?
Yeah.
It was the new kit.
Yeah, okay.
New kit's lovely.
I'm just looking at it here, and I think that obviously it takes you back to that Rico kit, and I get that. Well,
we're going to talk football now. I'm going to get the gaffer on for this one first. This is a question we've had from Darcy, and it is to yourself, Mark. You've had success in the past working in genuinely difficult circumstances. At Stoke City, there is far more stability and a fully invested owner. That's you, John Coates. Why, in your view, has success not followed, and what needs to happen to bring it to this club? Notice how the owner got the nice question.
So everything's in place. Why have you been rubbish? Yeah. Right.
Thanks, Darcy.
Thank you, yeah. Cheers, Darcy. Look, each club is unique, and the different starting positions. And a lot has got to be said for the way that the club is run, and the way that the feeling inside the club. And I think, especially this season, and I might be running forward, but especially this season has changed. It's different. It's positive. It's we're looking forward to everything. So, and that's not to say that it wasn't last season. It's just different this season. It feels different. Sometimes it's a little bit easier without resource, without that expectation. And then as the expectation grows, as you start to build and you start to get more success, everybody starts to believe, everybody starts to get behind it, and everybody then comes together. And that was the difference, one of the differences when I was at Coventry. Different. It was totally different. Here there is an expectation. We've got to manage the expectation, whereas we can't look at where we've been over the last 7 or 8 years, and it has been really disappointing for everybody that's been there all the time. And each season that goes by, it's even more of a kick in the teeth. We've got to remain, we can't go from where you are to here without some teething problems. And when I say teething problems, there's been some decisions that maybe I wouldn't have made, or decisions that we've had to make in certain circumstances because of the parameters that we've faced. This season, because of the changes, because of the way John's run the club, because of the way John's helped put things together, things are changing. But it takes time, and it's really difficult for everybody to go, yeah, you know, it's excuses. It's not excuses. I will never give excuses. I'll give reasons for things. This season feels different, and look, it could be the start of something, it could be the start of something brilliant. It is definitely the start of something. So I feel, since I've come in, I felt like firefighting in the first place. I felt like we got somewhere last season, and I felt that we had an inordinate amount of injuries which derailed the season. It's as simple as that. It's difficult to stomach for me, as well as for you, as well as for John and John, because we put a lot of work and a lot of effort into that, and John's put a lot of money into that. It's something that I take really, really seriously. It's something that we're desperate to get promoted for everybody. But there is a process, and that isn't a word I use lightly either, because everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Oh, it's a process we're going through. That's not what I'm saying. To get to where you want to get to, you've got to build. And this has been a difficulty for the club sort of over the last sort of 7 or 8 years. Coming to terms with relegation, putting all those things into practice, working alongside the rules that were in place at that point to where we are today. And there have been some difficult decisions, and those decisions will continue to be made until we get the team right on the pitch. There has been good investment this summer. I'm pleased with the way things are shaping up. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. But I think at this point in time, yeah, things are moving in a real positive direction.
Okay, that brings us on nicely to a question for yourself again, John Coates. Liam and Dan have asked this one. What are the aims and ambitions for the team over the next few seasons?
Okay, so not to get too far ahead of ourselves, I always look at the season in front of us, yeah, and obviously we know we've got 2 extra places to aim at now, so playoffs go down to 8th place, and you know I want us to be in that conversation, you know, and I can't guarantee it, but I very much feel that we can be part of that conversation, and come the end of the season, would like that to be so.
John Walters, question for yourself from Richard and Dan, who say, with the gap between relegated Premier League clubs in receipt of parachute payments and the rest of the Championship continually getting even bigger, what are the things that Stoke should look to do this season to close that gap and to push towards the top 8?
I think if you take those relegated clubs that come down, there's a lot of discontent in the squads as well, and there's a lot of movement. I think you can take advantage of having a bit more of a settled squad. A lot of those players and those teams want to leave as well, and their money gets cut in half usually, and then they try and go to another club. So you'll have that going on at those clubs. And we tried to steal a march on the transfer market quite early, in signing some good players early that other clubs couldn't do at the time. So I think the gap is there to be bridged. It's always difficult when you're competing against the finances of those teams that are coming down, but they might have larger overheads to be able to deal with. But I think we're making sensible signings and building the squad gradually. I think over the number of years you've got to take a squad and see where it's at. And I think if you look at the squad from a couple of years ago, even last summer, the players that left and the ones that come in, we're gradually building the value of the squad. We spoke about someone like Vic before. I think Carl Rushworth's just gone for 25 million to Coventry from Brighton, and I had Vic on a par with him. So if you can build that value in the squad, and there'll be times where you have to trade players, but obviously we know the rules have slightly changed this year, so it helps us a little bit more, and we've done a little bit more business, but it's getting the signings right, and we're not going to get everyone right as well. All signings don't work. But it's just making the right decisions as and when you can, and sometimes you dealt with something where you want to bring in player X and there's an injury, which what happened in the January window, so we had a limited number of squad places and we had to go for a different position, which sort of didn't help whatsoever. So and you learn from all the things that go on as well. We're constantly learning how different relationships work and different decisions during the process of signing people and onboarding players in, and over the course of the summer we've had a huge number of changes of staff within the building as well, so it's not just players, it's staff and gelling all that together. So I think with having an environment that people want to really come and work and enjoy it, which when Mark alludes to, he feels like it's different. We feel like we've got that now, and it's a really good place that everyone's really enjoying pre-season so far. There hasn't been too many hills or too many bad runs, but I think a little bit on the pitch we're seeing a bit of that as well. We're seeing things of the identity of the team coming out, and we've still got work to do in a transfer window. So I think it's always a difficult gap to bridge, but with that, with those 8 spaces, I think there's a lot of teams that are saying they want to be in the mix for that. And I think we can only put ourselves in the best position during this transfer window to be within that mix.
Well, that's going to bring me on to a point to yourself again, John Coates. A point's been made actually from a few fans that the message sort of has been along the lines of thanking you for everything that you've done to put into the football club, and saying it's genuinely appreciated by a lot of the fans that have been in touch. Now it's for your favourite part. I think we have these sort of questions every fans forum. Some would say the boring bit. You, I'm sure, will disagree. We've done FFP.
Yeah.
We've done PSR. Now it's SCR, squad cost ratio. So from previous forums, you've mentioned, I think, in a guise of this is maybe a better model. I don't know, put words in your mouth, but how do you see it benefiting Stoke City is a question that's come in a number of times. What as a club are we doing to increase revenues as a result? Maybe you explain a little bit about SCR for those that aren't sure.
So, okay, great.
Brace yourselves, everybody.
We got all night for this, or no?
You're the boss.
Okay. So, start. What we were very advocates for change. I thought PSR were a the P&S rules were a terrible set of rules. They limited ambition, they limited investment in clubs, and to no beneficial effect as far as I can see. And they were I think they were bad for everybody, but they were particularly bad for clubs that had a relatively high cost base, which is kind of us, who weren't in receipt of parachute payments, which is kind of us. So they were a terrible set of rules for us. Yeah. Now, the SCR rules aren't perfect, right? But they home in on one particular thing, which is player costs. So first team costs. So you take the wage bill of your playing squad, yeah, and you add in cash in from transfers, cash out from transfers, yeah. You arrive at a figure, and you're able to spend a percentage of your revenue, 85%, of that on those players, okay? So of your revenue on those players. And then you're able to top it up with £10 million worth of equity, which I'll do, okay? So they're better for us, but you're absolutely right. You have to grow your revenues. Yeah. Now here comes one of the issues that we've got. Okay. So Simon King's over there, Chief Commercial Officer. His team done a magnificent job of raising revenues, non-match day revenues. Obviously, we're trying to monetize the Booth and Quarter, etc. All these things, they're beneficial. So every incremental bit of spend we've got there, we can spend more on directly on the squad under the rules. However, I've got this other thing where I want to make supporting Stoke City affordable, right? Well, that doesn't help. That works in the opposite direction. So if I want to keep things, if I say to Simon and the guys, look, I don't want season tickets to go up. I don't want, I want shirts to be as reasonable as possible. I want to do free coach travel. Yeah, all those things don't sit well with any of the financial rules. But I feel, look, we are in a better place with these rules than we were before, as you've seen from some of the business we've done. So net it's a positive, yeah, but it's not perfect. Now, one of the questions we have to ask ourselves is, we've now got a regulator. Now, to my mind, the financial rules should probably now come away from the clubs and just sit with the regulator, because clubs will always vote out of self-interest, as will we, and probably that's a better thing. The financial rules are probably better sat over there, but that's one for another day.
It's like pressing a button with you and it just go, isn't it? It's
Look,
mastermind subject, isn't it?
it's been a good change, okay? It's not perfect, but it's been a good change.
Good summary. John Walters, question for yourself now. This is coming, I think, a few times too. How would you assess the progress made in building the club during the past 12 months? And has the club now developed a distinct identity?
So there's been a lot going on, as I just said, in the off season. There was welcoming a lot of staff into the building, and my job's sort of pulling all this together and getting a lot of people working in different groups together, like pulling all the spokes of a wheel together and making sure everyone gels. When there's a problem, I try and put that fire out and make sure it works, and to give everything the best chance. Ultimately, it's for the players to perform on the pitch. Whatever we do is for those players to perform on the pitch. Everything revolves around that. So whatever department and everything we're doing in building that, that's what we're trying to do. We've got our values as a football club and as a city that we want to stick to as well. We want to be a team that's relentless at everything we do. We want to be a team that has no excuses. We want to be accountable for everything. And as I said, there's plenty of mistakes made by everyone. And there should be, because that's the only way you're going to get better and learn. Hopefully not the same mistake twice, so you don't keep making them. But that's how you grow, so you want to be accountable. And ultimately, we're a group, and I've always felt it from supporters and the club, we're all in it together. And we do a lot of work with myself and Simon in the commercial and stadium staff that are based here, and the training ground staff. And how do we make that club and the community and the fans and everyone feel part of it? And a hell of a lot of work's gone over that over the past couple of years. But over the past 12 months, again, I think you'll see I think probably the biggest change internally in staff will probably be the medical and sports science side. And it's someone I tried to bring to the club a couple of years ago in Damien Roden. So Damien and Matt Radcliffe, and we've got another guy that Mark knows from when he was very young, Mark Sartori, who was just got out head of performance at Roma. So he was at Man City for 12 years in England. So we feel like we've got a really, really strong group, and that is the engine room for the players and keeping players on the pitch, helping them get better and perform, and creating elite athletes. And that's so important, because the more players you have available, the more chance of success you have, and the less you have to spend on the playing squad as well, because you can have less players. And then everything else around the club, what we're trying to grow in all the different departments, whether it be sports science, medical, data, technology, and then ultimately recruitment side of it, and getting that right. We brought Stuart Harvey into the club from the summer, who really helped Sunderland go from the League One journey to the Premier League. He was a really good guy and really knowledgeable, so how do we tap into his insights and help what he's doing? And he's there to help me right across everything as well. So we feel like we've got a really strong, stable part of the club in every part of it. And now it's just about turning that into performances on the pitch. But ultimately you need players that are available, players that are fit, a better quality of player as well, because we want to get there and maintain where we're at. Because I think last year, again, we all felt it. We had that real good feeling at the start of the season. We were second. We were the third longest team in second position for the course of the season. We were the third longest team in that position. We were one of the top six for the season. And then, partly injuries, partly bad form, partly a bit of mixture of everything. It just fell apart. So that was so disappointing. But now to have a real fresh start and that real feeling around the place, and then being able to go out and go, right, we can sign Ethan Galbraith for X amount. And I put him on par with Hayden Hackney as one of the best midfielders in the league last year. So we're able to make those signings and make everyone know we're there and we're serious about challenging for that top 8 and being there. So and we've still got a lot of work to do between now and the end of the window, and we'll see more people coming in and out, but we want to make those type of signings that actually add to the quality, not just squad fillers, not just people that are just going to be a part of the squad or just discover. We want to get that quality from there to really give us that chance.
I will get on transfers in a second, because obviously you can imagine that's come up a little bit. But just on the identity thing, are they the same thing on the pitch and off the pitch? Is the ethos still the same? Is that sort of feeling still the same for you, as someone who's played on the pitch himself as well?
Yeah, it's a lot easier as a player on the pitch, because in the first minute you can just go and take someone out. you can't do that to the staff. But yeah, so it's so much easier as a player on the pitch to show your identity, to play how you want to play. It's harder. And I fall into the trap myself where I probably do too much at times, and I can be tired and I get told off a lot for doing too much. And that's partly bringing Stuart in as well to help me with that, be right across everything. But it's just that's my relentless nature. I always want to get better, and even when we were flying in second, it's like, how do we get better? How do we catch top? And that's just me, and that's in my nature. But so I try and we again over the course of the off season and pre-season, we've drummed it into the staff of like, come on, this is what we are, this is what we're going to do, these are our values. We need to live them and breathe them right across, and let's have it in a world that you can have really good debate and you can disagree a lot. As long as you come out the room united, and we go out that room or at the training ground united, and this is us as a team, and we're all agreed, you can have as many disagreements as you want inside, because that's how you grow and get better. And again, it's okay to get it wrong, and it's okay to learn, put your hand up and go, yeah, I messed up there, or didn't get that right. So I feel like we're getting that in the training ground, and it's got a real good feel about it. And not just first team staff, again, it's my jobs right across the club. So we've restructured the academy, we've got Jack Higgins in there, and he's getting to work himself with a lot, and academy is a lot more transient, so there's a lot more people moving in and out as well. So he's got a job, but ultimately we want to get players and create that pathway, and we're looking at it, aren't we? How do we create that pathway for players to come through to the first team? So we're getting more younger players training up with us, more 15, 16, 17. You know, can you come and do a rondo with us? Can you do a possession with us? And it's been brilliant.
Yeah.
And we really want to get Stoke City players from the academy into that first team as well. So again, just to give you, that's right across everything we're trying to do. Yeah.
Could I just bring you in for a second on this one, Mark? 'Cause I remember your initial press conference when you joined, and you said that there was, when you were, after you'd left your previous club, you were sort of considering what club you would go to if the opportunity came available, and you said Stoke was on that list. And so I imagine for you as a manager and the experience you've got, identity is quite an important thing for you as well, and having that shared identity and philosophy with you as a manager in the football club.
Yeah, really important. I think the other thing to sort of point out is that sometimes I see the game in a certain way. So my ideal might be slightly different as to what I can put out on the pitch at the moment, which might be slightly different to what the club supporters want to see. So we're going around that, and part of what John spoke about, it manifests itself in sort of habits and principles about how we do things, what we do in certain situations, and try and give the players solutions to problems that they're going to face in different areas of the pitch at different times, against high press, against a team that sits off. So you're trying to give them solutions all the time to try and help them overcome problems in a game, to try and make things as fluid as possible. So those are the processes that we're working through. Obviously, when players change, and there's been 5 new players in, there's a couple of players left, but the 5 new players that have come in need to get up to speed with that and get an understanding. But the funny thing is, the better the player, the quicker they get to grips with things. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring players in to sort of live that out and make sure that they bring that to life every match day. And I think there are some really pleasing things over pre-season that started to improve and you can see it filtering in. I think some of the decision making has been pretty good so far, and it looks like we're a threat. Looks like we could have scored more goals on Saturday against Valencia, a good side. First half we were a little bit too passive. Second half we were a lot more aggressive, and it was just little things that make a big difference. And the players start to understand that, then obviously that starts to become something that confidence grows, and they've got good ability as well. So there's a lot to like, and there's a lot, it's moving forward pretty quickly.
Well, Mark's just teaming up nicely, actually. John Walter's going to come back to you on this one here for a question that we've had in from Dan. How would you assess the business that we've done in the transfer window to date? There's a 3-part question. We'll pause there and we'll go to that first. So how would you assess the business that we've done in the transfer window to date?
So the 5 we brought in, I think we knew we needed a competent number 2 goalie. We thought it was a bit too early for Tommy to come. We wanted to have the season on loan in League One last year. It's a lot to ask for a young player, especially coming through the academy. So he'll be much better for that. But we felt like we needed a competent number 2 that's 1.5 almost that can step in. And Josh has shown that in pre-season, hasn't he? Been really good. He surprised a few people with how good he is with his feet and things like that as well. So that's good. Ethan, I think, is a bit of a statement signing. I think it was one that look, Ethan, I've been a big admirer of for years, and the fact that he came available was a bit of a shock. I think I said it in a previous. No, I actually said it to the staff. It had to be done within 24 hours. It was one of those ones. We had to work really hard, really quickly to make that happen, which was great. Luke Graham, left-footed centre-half, like Rocking Horse. Yeah. And he's shown what he's about. Now, Luke is still young. He'll make mistakes, as all young players do as well, and grow. But I think you've seen a glimpse of Luke in pre-season. He's quality on the ball, and he can step out with it. He can be a magnet in the box with it. So we're really pleased with him so far, because it's a big step up in terms of intensity from the SPL to the Championship straight away. Svante, I think we all enjoyed his long throw at the weekend, didn't we? I think there was a bit of a build-up to his throw, so that was good. It's always nice to have that type of throw in the armoury as well, which is going back to a bit of identity. But I think what I really liked watching, well, I didn't like watching because it was against us, he left it on a few of our players.
Yeah.
Quite a few times, and then I'd watch him at other games, and he'd drive things in the change room. Every bit of feedback we got from everyone we knew at Sheffield Wednesday, anyone that was with him, and he knew Vic from when he was very young, was that his personality. So we felt like we needed that in the dressing room as well. And we've got a lot of players that are not from the UK, even though Svante's not. He's that type. And the final one, Jibril. Mm-hmm. So Jibril is one of those players that he can be anything he wants to be. He's got all the attributes. And when you sign a Championship player, you expect there's something that they don't have. You need to add to that. So whether it be training every day, whether it be intensity, whether it be technique, whether it be physicality, something. So Jibril's the same. If you get him right, he'll go one way. And he took a knock. Someone fell on his ankle at Crewe and he missed a couple, but he played 15 minutes of the weekend. So, sorry, going back on the 5 signings. Yeah, we're happy so far. Yeah. We know what we need to do. We know we need cover in certain areas, but people that, not just cover, as I said, people that can actually play. And we know we need more goals. So how do we do that? Whether it be top end, wingers, 10s, how do we create more goals?
Well, I'll tell you what. Well, before I asked our other panelists about the signings, just because you've alluded to it there, because Dan has then said, you probably knew this was coming. Do you think there are more to come, signings? And I'll attach on the next bit. To what extent could the loan market be part of that equation?
I don't like the loan market. And John doesn't like the loan market because you develop someone else's player usually. And we've been stung a couple of times, but we've had to use it in terms of just the finances. Sometimes you don't get a player, or there's no loan fee instead of spending money on a transfer fee, and you have that, it becomes available. That's sometimes how you get these players. You want to use the loan market to really improve the squad somewhere, or if you're struggling in a way where we had to use it to bridge a gap. So we want to use the loan market that's going to really help the squad, help the team on the pitch. But I don't like using it because of myself and John and Clou, we want to own our players because we develop our players, because then if we are going to develop them and trade them or get us to where we need to be, they're our players.
Just then bringing in yourselves, Mark. Obviously, these are players that you'll be working with. The 5 signings that John spoke about a moment ago, you've worked with them obviously really closely, and from you were nodding along to everyone that John was talking about there. So, really happy with the players that are coming already. You've enjoyed working with them, have you?
Yeah, they're good lads. Like I said before, the whole feel is different this year. And when we speak to the players, they're under no illusions about what's happening and how we're training and how we play and what the outcome has to be for us. We want to get promoted. And the good thing is that when they come, they all say, yeah, we want to get promoted, we want to play in the Premier League. Right, good. You've got to do this to get to the Premier League. And if there's any doubt about it, they get a kick up the backside. But generally, it is about hard work, it's about graft, it's about taking on board all the information that they get and then making sure that they take that out onto the training ground every single day. There has still been a sort of mindset where they'll put everything into a game, but then can't get back to the level for a game or two, which isn't good enough. The level demands that you have to be at the best every single game. Every single training session matters. So those are the things that you've got to go. That's when I say about a journey. Those are the things, because the players are human beings. They're young. They're trying to go through this. Right, okay, this is what I've got to do. This is the understanding. I've got to do this. Players are at different levels. So we've got players at different levels, and we've got to try and get them all to the same level. But that's what we try and do. And when John was talking about players coming in, and not just players to come in as players to come in and play, it's not like understudies for people. We try and improve that position as much as you possibly can do all the time. And that's what we do on a daily basis, and that's part of the journey. But I'm happy with them all. I think they're good. They're, like I say, different levels, but they're all capable, all really good players, and a different level of player than we've been able to get sort of in the recent past, I would say.
John Coates, I don't want to sort of spotlight players in particular, but obviously as a fan of nostalgia with Stoke, you were buzzing, weren't you? Cervantes' long throw.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Nice. Did you enjoy it?
Well, it's good. Well, you saw the problems it caused. Yeah, I mean, look, we want to play. We'll play great football, and we want to constantly improve and the way we play. But then you want additional weapons that you can use and call upon, and that is another one we can call upon, and that I think it'll help us during the season.
You mentioned, didn't you say, we did a chat in the studio, didn't we, not that long ago, and you mentioned before you'd signed anyone actually that you're looking for superpowers as well as obviously players that can go up to the standard, John. So is that obviously...
Yeah, you always want that in a player anyway, whether it be pace, finishing, skill, defending, but something like that. Look, even last year, I'm a fan as well. We sit there and sometimes it's something I bang on about a lot, isn't it? We have a throw and we end up back at Vic's feet. Just get it in the box. Because I always say it gets outcomes, and even the players now in pre-season, we tell them, and then they'll pick up a quick throw and it'll go back to the goalie's feet, and then the goalie kicks it long. So it's like, but you're on the edge of the box. All you have to do is set someone to put the ball in the box. You're not going to score unless the ball goes in the box. But even then, the players in the heat of the moments will pick up the throw and throw it back to get a quick throw for possession. So talk about habits and reminders. These are the things we're picking up on with the players daily of the video. Look, you did these couple of things. Remember, when it's a free kick there, unless, if you're 2 or 3 and up and it's a different type of game state, you want to keep the ball tied of the team out. Or if you're taking a quick free kick and it's got an outcome by switching it quick, get a 2v1 on the side to get a cross in, it's fine. Otherwise, you're not going to score unless it goes in the 6-yard box, in the double 6-yard box. So things like that. So with a long throw in, you're able to do that in one go. And look, there's times last year, Coventry away, obviously we were all over them, and then he had a long throw and scored. And it was like, yeah, killed us, didn't it? It just sucks the life out of you. So to have that in our armoury instead, it's great.
The other thing as well is referees are now going to come in Thursday to just go through things. So when we're talking about long throwing, you've got 5 seconds now. You've got 5 seconds. You get a throw and you've got to put the ball in within 5 seconds. So there's going to be some running from the centre-backs to get up. So you can have a go at them. If they're walking, you have a go at them.
Mark, you sort of alluded to this already, but you mentioned that there's obviously you've all talked about the sort of changes that have been made. You do feel there's been a real change of direction, and obviously there was such a good feeling going into last season. So how, I guess, excited and empowered are you by this upcoming season now, if you think that things are in an even better place?
Yeah, the feel, like I've said before, that the feeling around the place is totally different. So we've got people in that John's got in that are elite. They're elite in their field and experts in their field, so they can help with everything from times the training, who's training, what they're able to do. We've changed the way we train because we were talking about it in the summer. So the days in are different, without going into too much detail because I don't want everybody doing the same thing. We've got a way of training where we will get stronger and fitter over the course of the season. That's not to say that we're not fit now. You've seen us playing, they look quite sharp. But there's miles more to come. So these people have got a real understanding of what it takes to keep people on the pitch, to keep people fit and moving forward. So that's one part of things. The other part of things is the players that have come in. We've spoken about that. The training facility is just awesome, absolutely awesome. So you feel lucky coming into training every single day. The new players coming in, people we speak to, players that we speak to. I mean, it's just an unbelievable selling point, and that's just one thing, and that's just a facility. But the people within it that populate it bring it to life, and that's something that's really exciting. The people that we've got in there that John's put together, it's absolutely brilliant. And on the back of that, there's a feel-good factor. So the players are in there, and they want to work, they want to learn, and we just can't wait for the season to start now. We've got a big game coming up at the weekend, and we're looking forward to that. And then obviously the league campaign a week later.
That actually brings me nicely to a question we've had in here for yourself, John Coates. I think this is from a few people as well, actually, about the training facilities. So the question reads, the new training facilities that were opened earlier this year, as well as the investment in the people and the operation that bring that facility to life, why was that deemed such an important investment the club needed to make, and what do you make of the end result?
Well, on the end result, I've got a... Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I've got...
Take it out in the edit.
Richard Smith's over there who, did unbelievable. The amount of people who come up to me and say, "Oh, we've seen that facility of other clubs. How did you do it for that? For that cost?" I mean, it cost a lot of money, but it was for the value for money for that. What we got is just exceptional. So, a big thank you for Richard for organising that project, which is superb. I'll come back to one thing. Mark's talked about the staff in there, and it's having the facilities and having the, we want to give the every edge we can have. If we can have slightly better facilities, that just gives us that 1%. Then we'll take that 1% improvement. But I'll go back to when we opened the training facility. I'll say the same thing to all of you. As I said to the players, I said, look, this is a fantastic facility, yeah. But I don't want to be remembered as the guy who built a really nice facility. Yeah. There's got to be a point to this. Yeah.
If you had a mic to hold, that'd be a mic drop moment. But don't take it off, please.
No. I don't think you can do it quite the same.
It'd just be awkward. It wouldn't work. Anyway. John Walters. Darcy's back with another question. She's back with a vengeance.
Is Darcy in the room?
If Stoke don't get top 8 this season, will it be considered a failure? Darcy's words, not mine.
Where is Darcy? Come on. Hello, Darcy.
Just ask the next question.
Take a minute.
I'll follow on from John's comments, and we haven't finished above 14th, but 13th is not the aim. You've got to set your sights to be around that. That's for me, and I talked about before. My makeup of my brain is just always need to get better and better and better, and you've got to aim for right at the top. There's no reason why we shouldn't be right up there. It's going to be difficult to do, but we're doing everything we possibly can to be up there. So, yeah, I want to be in the top 8. Without a shadow of a doubt, that's give us two more places. Give us that extra bit of chance. And I know the players can feel it as well, and I know they feel it from last year. And I know they've seen the difference in the staffing, in the players coming into the building. That makes a huge difference to everyone else. It lifts everyone else as well. So for me. I want to be there. That's got to be our aim. Our aim's not going to be just finish above where we finished before. Our aim's that we want to be a club. That's what we're striving for, not for mediocrity. We've got to strive to get out of this league, and to do that, you've got to be in the top 8.
And you do it together.
Yeah,
do it together. We really need everybody together. It's hugely important.
Players, staff, fans.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And Darcy.
Yeah.
David and Toby have got a question for you. John Walters, and I guess it goes into a little bit more detail now, something you've touched on a few times. How is the health of the squad from an injury perspective heading into the new season?
Okay, so we've got a very big squad, that's what I will say, which we don't want it to be as big as well. We need to, there will be movement in, there'll be more movement in, but there'll also be movement out, and that's the nature of the football club. So, you know, if we were to start the season in a couple of weeks, we'll have a full bench, and we'll have players off it. Some players will be injured. But the players coming need to add to that quality, so there'll be more players off, so we need to trade in players. So the players at the moment, who have we got? We've got, I'll go through the players. Grezzy took a pretty bad impact in Austria on his knee. So he's not going to be a quick one. Someone went right onto his kneecap. So yeah, that's going to be a little while for Grezzy, which is really unfortunate because he did a long sliding tackle and the stud went right into his kneecap. So that's not great. Who else? Junior. I'm hoping Junior and Atto will be training. They're back on the grass, so they'll be training post Swansea is what I think we're aiming for.
Yeah.
Once they're training, I think you're up to speed quite quickly. So Junior actually had a setback again, which we need to get right, because if he wants to progress, if we want to progress as a team, and we use our right back, and he wants to progress as a player, he needs to get on top of that, and we do all that together. And as I said, the change in staff will hopefully do that. We've got Atto, who's been really unfortunate, and look, some of these things happen when you sign a player. You're told, you know, he's got this, it's going to be a couple of weeks, and it ends up being a lot longer, and you're waiting for that to heal, which it did. And then he was a really unfortunate one of being in a stretching position. He tweaked a few fibres. I won't say works, it's not fair for him, tweaked a few fibres, so he's again back on the grass today. I'm trying to think who else is out at the moment.
That's it really.
It's three: Aaron, Atto, Junior.
Yeah.
We haven't seen much of Ethan over pre-season.
Oh, Ethan. So Ethan, yeah, Ethan was Ethan's a really strange one. He's training now, Ethan. Just a strange one that the physio said he's only ever seen one like it before. Just a really innocuous thing. It could have just been a bruise. He took a few whacks in the Crew game, and then followed up in Sheffield Wednesday. He took a few more whacks in exactly the same position in the muscle belly. So it could have been. It's something that's bled out. It's something really small and innocuous. But because of last year, and because you're like, well, look, Oldham's almost our last game of the pre-season schedule. It's the start of the season, but if you took it from last year, we would have had 6 games. So we're going into the 6th game, and it's right. Why are we taking the chance with Ethan when we're away? Let's just jump him down, keep him on the grass with you guys, do all the work that you need to do, the same amount the team are doing, which is what he's been doing, and just introduce him back in. So he was training today as a floater. So we're in a good place. I really hate muscle injuries. If there's a muscle or tendon issue, I think you can avoid them if possible, and hence what we're saying about the days and the load and everything like that. So I don't think we're in a bad place, but you know, it was a huge part of our downfall last year. So yeah, we need to get it right. And with players like Ethan, who's just come in, I think we'll get what you find is when you sign players, well, you've got to get to know them as the physios and medical and sports science. What are they like? Can they push through things? Is it something small? Is it something big? So they've got to learn the players as well when they come in.
Mark, couple for you now. One's from Stephen. Says, who within the coaching setup is responsible for set-piece coaching?
Well, we work really closely together, but it's my responsibility. So if they want to blame anybody, blame me. But we are working. Listen, last year, we were really good defensively for the first part of the season. You lose players, then all of a sudden you start to concede some goals. Set plays, we didn't score enough, but we had a few disallowed, and we were in top quarter of the division in terms of that. But if you get another 4 or 5 goals, you're on line with being promoted. So if you're looking at improvements in that, yes, 100% we need to do that. We need to keep the ball out of the back of our net, which we weren't good enough at last season. But if you're looking to blame anybody, you blame me. We work really closely together on those things.
Lucas,
thanks, Stephen.
It's something on recruitment as well. If you think you want to get players that really attack the ball in both boxes, and that's something we look at as well. It's not just like you sometimes look at the team last year and you could be really small. You go to identity of Stoke, and you could end up with 6 or 7 players that are 5'10", and that's not usually Stoke. So you look at the players that come in the summer, 6'2", 6'3", 6'3", or Ethan can take them. And Joshua's probably 6'5". It's like getting to that. I remember being a player and being in the tunnel, I was the smallest, and everyone used to look up and see our team. And it was, that presence, and you usually look at Premier League players and that's what stature they have. So that's partly recruitment as well of what we bring in to be able to attack set pieces and defend them as well. So it's not just what you can do on the pitch, it's sometimes the tools you have available to you as well.
And that's changing. Something else that's changing. Pro Ref, BGMOL, as were, are talking about that changing. So if you hold anybody, if anybody gets in front of you and you pull them back, that's seen as chasing. So that'll be deemed as a warning, then it'll be given as a penalty. And then if you are holding and you're facing away from the ball again, that's going to be a penalty. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. Again, we've got a referee coming in on Thursday, so he'll explain everything to the players and to the staff.
It'll last for a week. It'll last for a week, won't it? Holding in the box. And then, but what annoys me more than anything, annoys us, probably annoys you as well. The referees go in and tell them, stop holding each other, and then they go in and tell them, stop holding each other, and they do it again, and then they're talking about you have to take 5 seconds for the throw-in to speed the game up. Well, stop going in and telling them, just give a penalty. It's simple, isn't it? And that annoys us more than anything. Just let the players get on with the game. I think they slow it down more than anyone.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So it'll last for a week. Yeah.
Do you want to do this just for the rest of the... Because I think you could just go at it for the rest of the session, couldn't you? Just talking about the
referees,
official decisions and whatnot.
But
you're don't. We've got a question from David. Again for yourself, Mark. Do we have enough goals in the team to compete for a place in the top 8? For the benefit of the radio,
that wasn't my answer. That wasn't my answer.
Just to be clear,
we've got players in that can score goals. We're going to need 60 odd goals if you're going to get to the level we want to get to. So we need to make sure and ensure what we do, and we've not addressed certain areas just yet, but we will be. Is that very fact? We need goals. And by the way, don't tell anybody they can't score.
The hardest ones are on the top end of the pitch.
Yeah.
We all know we know we need more goals in the team. You look last year, I think it's a modern myth of, it was only Vopotnik, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This year, 26 goals, I think. It's getting a 20-goal a season striker. The goals are more spread out now between wingers and strikers. I think if you go through the league last year, there was the top 5 for XG, which is basically your measurements of who should score. You had Hadji Wright, Coventry player, less than 20. You had Tommy Conway, less than 20. He was 14. Ahashi, Hurst.
Was McBurney
there? McBurney was below that.
Oh, right.
And then Vopotnik was below that, just really overperformed. So it's creating those chances as well. It's getting the goals, but it's creating those. So having options, and I know we've got 2 of the most dangerous wingers, as everyone tells us, in the league, and really difficult to play against. But we need different options from the top 4 positions.
Okay, Mark, a question from Kevin. What are the considerations that you go through when deciding upon a team's formation for each match?
Well, we talk about formation. Really, it's a starting point. Your tactical elements are within that, and you've got to have some tactical flexibility within games to change it, depending on the personnel you've got available, and how you're going to try and operate in terms of in possession, out of possession. So those are some of the considerations, not all of them. But there are significant considerations when you're picking a team. Formation is different because we play in a certain way and what I try and do is give them the confidence playing within a certain structure, but you'll see that they're not always within that structure. There's different formations within different areas of the pitch to enable us to go and attack, but also to be able to defend when that turnover takes place.
What do you make of starting the season with the Carabao Cup, and talk about the nature of the challenges ahead in terms of the first couple of league games, Swansea, Southampton, but obviously firstly you've got an opponent in Oldham?
Yeah, and Oldham have done well. I mean, Mickey Mellon has got Gary Brabbin with him, and if anybody doesn't know Gary Brabbin, he's hard as nails. And they will be a difficult team if we give them any opportunity. They'll punish us. There's no doubt about it. So we've got to be right on our game, which we will be. And then if you look beyond that, we want to get into the next round, clearly, and it takes momentum into the next game because we need that as well. Swansea coming here is a good start to the season in front of our own support. You'll see all the stats about we've not won since like last January or something, and then those are things we got to box off because it's a different season, it's a different set of players, it's a different set of circumstances. We're talking about the feel good around the place. We've got to maintain that for as long as we possibly can do, going in with that positivity and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's opportunity. It's a real good opportunity, and I think that we've got a good start to the season. 2 games at home, then we go away to Southampton, then we go away to Wolves, which will be brilliant tests for us as well in terms of that. Went there and won 2-1 last year at St Mary's, and then we haven't played Wolves for a while because they've been in the Premier League for a long time. Let's see. I think you're not going to tell. I mean, I think Wolves have made some good signings. I think Raul Jimenez and Trippier have gone in there and are 2 really decent signings for them in the Championship. So the challenge is significant, but it's there to attack, there to look forward to, and like I say, we'll look forward to that.
Let's try and do 2 more if we can, and I'll try and get all 3 of you on this one. I'll start with yourself, John Coates. Obviously, just a few days away now. Can't believe it already from the start of the season. Been a lot of goings on over the summer, and plenty to be positive about. I think it's important to mention the season card sales as well. That might be something I'd bring you in on, John, and just the staggering number considerably up from this time last year. So, John Coates first, and then I'll ask yourself, Mark and John Walters. What's your message to the fans?
Well, the message on the season cards, or just generally on the season.
Let's do season cards first, and then the message in general.
On both the same. I mean, on the season cards, I mean, thank you. It's been magnificent. The reaction we've had, and the sales we've had, and to after what was the disappointing end to last season, to do the numbers that we've done. And then every home game, first thing I do is look out, and it's so good to see the stadium as full as it is, and then away from home as well. Those people who travel away, as I come up and take my seat, the first thing I do is look where our fans are, and I love that. Yeah. So that's my message.
Mark, yourself, your message?
Just thank you, and we desperately need everybody together. If we can do that, then we've got a right chance, because we are really powerful when it's like that. I've seen it before. I've seen it with us, and if we can do that, then we've got a real good chance of achieving what we need to. And we are desperate to get back into the Premier League. Desperate to do it. So we're working towards that aim, and as long as you know that and you trust that, that's a big thing for everybody, that trust and appreciate each other. I think that's one of the biggest things as well. Just stay together, and we'll give you every ounce of effort and commitment that we possibly can do to get us to where we all want to be.
Finally, self, John Walters.
I think I'll just echo that in saying that I'm doing everything I possibly can, and Mark is and John is, with putting the values of this city into the team and showing you what it is to be a Stoke City fan, and the players on the team need to show you that as well on the pitch, which doesn't always happen. But we're doing everything we possibly can to get that Stoke back to what you want to see on the pitch, because as like us, we're all fans of football as well, and there's nothing worse, and they share exactly the same frustrations of sometimes what you see on the pitch. We talked about the throw and going back to the goalie, things like that. It's the same with me. So we're doing everything we possibly can, and we really appreciate all the support you guys give us. We want to give you a team that you're proud of on the pitch as well, and ultimately we've got to see that on the pitch as supporters, haven't you? You've got to see success on the pitch, but you want to see someone that really fights for the club. So yeah, we're doing our best as possible to bring that to you.
And finally, one thing, so short answer, that excites you most about the season ahead. John, do you want to go first?
Don't let Mark go first.
I just said it, opportunity.
I
It represents a big opportunity to go and achieve something this season. And that's right from the start of it, right from the outset. And the excitement is there within the building, and I can sense everything within the room as well.
John Coates, will come to you.
So it's last game of the season, away at Millwall.
It is, yeah.
Last minute, Svante, long throw, Bosun header into the playoffs.
I'm not sure you top that now,
How can you
John.
top that?
You can't. Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
The
you got
John
anything you
Coates
want to
knee slide.
That was cherry on cake. Cherry on cake.
Energy. There's the energy. We want to see it, don't we? The energy. We want to see it from the club, the staff, the players, the fans. That energy. That's what excites me. Because when you get that, the rest just explodes. It'll take off. And we've got that feeling. We're building that. So we want to see that. You want to see that from us. We want to see that from you. That's what excites me.
If and when that day comes, I do want to see a John Coates knee slide. Have you still got it in you?
If that happens, I will do that.
Well, thank you everybody for coming down. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Here's to another season here at the Bet365 Stadium. By the way, just to wrap up, how apt that it absolutely started wetting it, didn't it, on the pitch? And it's a Tuesday night. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. Wait and see. Please give a big round of applause for our three panellists tonight.